Hey guys, welcome to another little snippet of the podcast with me and Harv today. Yeah, Stan can make it, unfortunately, so it's me and Harv, the double H's.
Hey man. Hey Harv.
Hey Harv, how you doing?
Good man.
So yeah, one thing me and Harv wanted to discuss today, just a little short thing, is what makes a man? I think that's such a complex question, and a lot of the time, us men don't even know what makes a man. I think we've been taught.
Sorry, your mic was in the way of your beautiful eyes.
Oh, that makes sense. Is it better now?
Yeah,
I just told the reverse. Oh, thank you, man. You see, this is the thing that me and Harv do. We look out for each other and make sure our mics are on each other's faces. But yeah, I think that's one thing we wanted to talk about. What makes a man? Like, it's a complex issue. I mean, you just wrote an article on about it, didn't you?
Yeah, so I just wrote a piece on the Purpose website now, and it was called, what was it? Masculinity is more than muscles.
Yeah.
And it was basically about the idea that when we're in school, if you're not very good at sport, or if you do a bad throw, or you run a bit weirdly, then you'll get people say, oh, you run like a girl, you throw like a girl. So there's obviously this link between physical ability and masculinity from a young age, and it was kind of about how that's not really the case, and it doesn't matter how muscly you are or like what your physical attributes are like. That doesn't make you a man. I mean, we see it with people who are using steroids now. Most people who use steroids are using them because of insecurity.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And they don't feel like a man after they're taking the steroids, because all that does, it doesn't fix the insecurity, it just heightens that. And then because you think when you're in that insecurity, you think that putting on the muscle is going to fix it. And then when that doesn't fix it, then you're faced with your actual insecurities of feeling inadequate, not feeling good enough, social pressure. And that's a scary place to be. So I was talking about the kind of personality traits, the characteristics which make a man, which are obviously more important than what you kind of look like.
Yeah, I agree. I think we live in a world right now where a man is defined by the way he looks. If he is X, then he is Y. Do you know what I mean? I feel like we get into this ridiculous mindset where we will just judge people on their cover, when reality is, I think a man is made up of multiple things. And you made a little list in that article, didn't you, about what makes a man? Like,
yeah. So the 3 points. I mean, it's not just limited to these 3 points. The 3 points that I drew attention towards were discipline, empathy, and humility.
So let's use those 3 as a walking point now to sort of discuss what masculinity is all about then, or what makes a man.
Yeah, we'll give a quick run through those, and then we'll see if there's any more that we see if there's any more that we think like personal to us.
Just get the ball rolling, my guy.
Yeah, let's get the ball rolling. So I think I touched on discipline because I think discipline is one of the first. I think this is also the main reason why you get confusion between physical appearance or ability and masculinity, because people associate like looking good, having a good body with masculinity, but we're trying to say these things are separate, but discipline can result in both. So although you don't have to be in good shape to be a man, well, that's not what we're saying, but if you are disciplined, a result of that will, if you're disciplined in your diet, disciplined in your exercise, which is key to looking after yourself, then that will very often will result in having a good body, being strong, being healthy.
Yeah, I think that discipline is the first stage to being a successful person.
Yeah, 100%.
Like if you look at some of your favorite actors right now, if you look at some of your favorite technicians, if you look at inventors, people the world highlights, look at Bill Gates, look at Hugh Jackman, and look at like someone like Ed Sheeran. These men come in very different shapes and sizes, but what they have is discipline. You have Hugh Jackman and his discipline to keep his body maintained. He goes ridiculous. I know you wrote a couple of articles about how, the way we view male bodies on the media can be really damaging, but at the same time, you've got to imagine, even when you do take stuff like steroids and stuff, there is a discipline to it. There is a mindset. There is a focus, because that man went on a water retention diet as well. Like it isn't all as simple as doing 100 press-ups and 100 sit-ups a day. Yeah, it's very much focused.
I think with discipline, I think it's different from that, because with that, they're obviously doing it for like a movie or something. But I think discipline is doing what you need to do when no one sees it.
Yeah.
So it's not just like doing the right thing because people are looking at you or preparing for a show or a performance or something like that. It's when no one's looking, how are you acting?
Yeah. I think what I mean then, in that point then, it's like what's happening beyond the camera.
Yeah.
You know, if you look at Bill Gates, from where he started to where he is now, if you look at someone like Ed Sheeran, you know, they all have this discipline, this mindset of success. And I think that's the best point. It comes from discipline. I think discipline makes a man.
I think a really good way of looking at your discipline can be how you treat your sleep.
Yeah.
Because one point is, because a lot of the time people will, one reason why people will stay up like really, really late, and when you know you shouldn't, is because it's when you feel like you don't have a grasp of your life. So say you're working all the time and you don't have that much time in the evening, much time to yourself in the evening to do with what you want. What happens is you'll stay up later just to feel like you have some sort of control over your life and what you're doing, even though you know it's not good for you, because you're so desperate to have that control of your life that you will put detrimental amounts of sleep into it. Whereas if you're disciplined, you will follow a bedtime, follow a waking up time, having faith that will make you feel better and or have a good effect on your life.
Well, yeah, I think discipline comes in many forms, but I think that's one of the key features that makes man. It's the ability to sort of say no and then yes. It's like rewarding yourself. Reward yourself with positive things through discipline.
Yeah.
I rewarded myself with more sleep because I've worked hard today and I've got a bedtime. I reward myself with reading this book, which will help me further my career, whatever. You know, it's all about those kind of moments where you actually get control of your life. I think people go like, I'm in control of my life, but then you stay up on TikTok until about 1 o'clock in the morning, just scrolling, going, another 5 minutes. And then it's about 5:30. Another 5 minutes. And then it's the next hour.
Yeah, exactly.
I get that because that's been me. And I totally did that last night.
I saw a clip and it was, this is what really put me off like TikToks or anything like that. It was the first stat was like saying, if you spend like half an hour on TikTok every day, you'll spend like, I can't remember what it was. It was like over a week, or like it was about a week of your year on your phone or on TikTok. And I was but like that's like here or there. What I found crazy was the bit where it was like, can you remember the last 5 TikToks you watched?
You see the thing. What is that, like an actual question? Am I going to out myself here? I remember the last 2, but your point stands. I can't remember like the other 5.
What about before that? How many TikToks have you watched today, and how many can you remember? The point is, you're just filling your brain with shit, with just like, numb my brain, like just give me something to look at over the next few seconds that will give me a bit of dopamine, which actually isn't going to contribute anything to your life and is just going to take attention away from everything else. Discipline is staying away from that, or like being able to go, actually, you know what, this isn't good for me. I'm going to remove myself from the situation, or just like stop.
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, go on to your next point then. What was the next point in the article?
The next one was empathy. And I think it's really important to be able to recognize how other people feel.
Yeah.
And especially when we can so easily get caught up in our own emotions, how we feel can often feel like the most important thing in the world. And to be able to take a step back from how you feel and realize, or try and recognize how someone else is being impacted by a situation, I feel like and being able to act on that, I feel like that's a really important skill.
Yeah, I mean, we live in a world where at some points men have been told not to cry or stuff like that. I think right now, actually, men that can pick up on that sensitivity, that moment of care of nature to concern themselves about someone else's feelings, I think that's a skill. And I think it's a lot of skill men should reward themselves for having, because that isn't sensitivity, that isn't being sensitive, that's emotional maturity. I think, if anything, as a man, one thing that defines you is your ability to be emotionally mature, to understand when you've fucked up, or to understand when other people need support. There's a question, one thing, literally today, me and Harv are getting our final projects marked today. So it's they're through, that's it. It's been taken by the lecturer, whatever. But in that moment there, I just looked at Harvey and went, hey man, I don't care what you're thinking about right now, but I just want to say today we're getting it marked. I just wanted to wish you good luck. Because in that moment there, I appreciate how much Harvey looked after me and how much of the podcast he supported me with through messaging me every day saying, hey, I'll give you, good luck, whatever. I hope you smash it out today. But it came to that moment where I just went, hey man, good luck to you as well, because it's concerning yourself with other people. I know we like to say, oh, well, I asked them how they were. I was like, but did you really make that move to sort of be empathetic, to sort of come down to their level? Because 9 times out of 10, when you say, how are you? People will just lie. I'm fine. It's building up that idea, that rapport.
Yeah, I feel like it's doing stuff proactively as opposed to reactively. So it's all very well going afterwards. Oh, how'd it go? You just go, yeah, good. But like going out of your way to say something before, like we're going to find out how we do in our dissertations is like how are you feeling it went? Like it's going that extra step. It's not just asking the step one. It's going like below surface level, isn't it? And I think another point with empathy, why it's important as a man. I mean, I feel like as a man, you wanna care and look after the people who you care about. Like you wanna be kind of protective. I mean, gender roles they've merged definitely now.
They're malleable. They change all the time.
I feel like it doesn't matter if you're the breadwinner, if you're a stay-at-home dad. I feel like you want to do everything you can to look after and care and provide. And I mean, there's going to be altercations and there's going to be situations in your family where you have falling out, where something's gone wrong, where you're angry about something, and being able to just step away and go, what are my family feeling? What are my friends feeling? What's my wife, husband, partner, children? What are they feeling?
Yeah.
Putting that first, being able to cope with that, help them process that, and then giving you time to process your own emotions. But I feel like being empathetic enough to recognize other people, the people you care about first.
Yeah.
Well, that's it.
I think it's ridiculous that it sounds like just honestly pushing yourself and making sure people are okay. I know in some certain situations, like sometimes it's not needed, but there are moments of silence where you're with your mates. Let's say you've gone out and, you're walking along the street and, let's say one of them's on their phone. It's that moment where you get an opportunity to sort of say, hey, I'm proud of you. You know what's really crazy? I implemented in my life and I found a lot more guidance and a lot more support from my friends and my own, like it's sort of like looking inwards on me. I found better moments in reflection about my life when I've just sort of went to someone and I said, I'm proud of you today. Because in that moment there, you have no idea what they've gone through.
100%.
And I think saying that you're proud of someone, regardless of what it is, it could be looking at you like, hey, I'm proud of you for waking up and coming into work today. Because I know at some points, God, that's fucking hard.
Yeah. Or even like if it's, oh yeah, really nice job, that bit of work. Like you've done really well there. Like that can make such a difference to people, and people overlook that so easily.
Absolutely. I think one of the best things me and Harv do, it's the moment of luck where you look them in the eyes and just go, I'm proud of you, man.
Yeah, good shit, man.
Yeah, good fucking shit. Back your boys, was what we're saying. I mean, going to the next point where, this is meant to be a short, but I feel like we could do an entire podcast on this.
We can cut bits, we can keep it going. We'll
I mean, a short is still within like 18 minutes.
We'll see.
The next point, yeah.
The last one was humility.
Wow. Big word.
Big one. Yeah. So that's like being humble. And I feel like this is such an, I mean, I touch on it in the article, but I feel like this is such a broad, like,
no pun intended.
I feel like this is such a broad one. Like, you can, being humble is putting yourself at a level where you're always open for more information. You're never closed off. You're never going, all right, I've learned enough about this topic where I don't need to know anymore. It's always being ready for a lesson, to take advice. It's always being ready to help someone without judgment, always being ready to accept and just be open to all kind of situations and prospects.
I just feel like people take everything as criticism nowadays. Like, honestly, in some moments, I think people forget to realize criticism is coming from the people that really care. Don't get me wrong, there are people out there that, are criticizing for the sake of it, but that humility, that being humble, that submission, yeah, I could have worked a little bit harder on that. So, oh, it's really good. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that. There's gratification. There's knowing that you'd worked hard and people appreciating that. But then at the same time, there's that moment of going, hey, yeah, I could have done this.
Yeah, it's being able to hold your hands up when something does go wrong or you made an honest mistake. And
because that shit happens all the time.
It happens all the time.
Don't push yourself for an honest mistake.
No, and like there's absolutely nothing wrong. It's extremely courageous to just be able to be like, it shows so much self-confidence. Just be like, yeah, hands up. I made a mistake. I made the wrong call.
My bad, yeah. That makes a man there.
Yeah, 100%. If you can't admit when you're wrong, then who's going to trust you when, like, the rest of the time?
Yeah, I think it all comes down to that idea of, in that moment there, I think one way I sort of treat it is like, if that was your mate there, what would you want them to do?
Yeah.
And that's a question I've asked in a mirror. I've looked at myself and I go, in this moment there, what would you have wanted to happen?
Mm.
And I think it comes down to, as minuscule as something is, I think a lot of the time when a problem occurs, you get that moment where it's like, is it really a big deal? Is it that deep or something? But in that moment of just saying, well, actually, it could have been to them, and just holding your hands up and going, hey man, that's my bad. I think that is such an emotionally mature, selfless, humble thing to do that actually requires plenty of discipline.
I feel like, I mean, they all these things interlink. I mean, you're required to have empathy for this to happen. I mean, if you're humble and one of your friends comes up to you and he's like, Harvey, I've really fucked up. I've done something. It's awful. What do I do?
Yeah.
Wow. But there's a level of humility which is required to not judge them, to see them as your friend. Empathy required here as well, and just to be like, look, man, we're going to sort this out. I think, right, we're going to build a plan. This is what you should do. You need to be honest. You need to be humble, and sometimes that's what it is. It's not putting yourself on a pedestal, going, "Oh my god, you've done that, so I'm better than you." It's just going. It's helping people who might have done something bad, but it's helping them as if they're your equal.
So I think one thing which sort of round this up is like, there are many qualities that make a man, and we're just discussing some of the things that do make a man. That is sort of what being a man is all about. And I think it's so malleable, that kind of sentence, that question, it's a malleable question that comes with loads of variables, but these are some things that you guys should probably consider when you listen to, like, what makes me a man today?
Yeah, I will just, we can edit our little bits before down. I want to have something that's not in the article. I want to know what you think makes a man.
You want to know what I make?
One trait or one action which you go, wow, that's really it.
That's such a deep question.
Or just something like you want to embody as you grow into a man.
I think one thing my dad did that really sort of stuck out to me is that makes a man. It's not necessarily providing, but it's the ability to give unconditionally. Not materials, it's not always material. It's emotionally, it's supportive. Like, I think being a rock makes you a man. That's what my dad was. He was a rock that I could lean on. I think that comes into play when it's with your friends, when it's with family, and it interlinks with all that aspects of being disciplined, being empathetic, being humble. But it's more importantly just standing strong. Because in moments of time, there are some people there that need to lean on you. And I think, don't get me wrong, you can lean on them, but you being strong and stood there.
Don't make yourself closed off.
Yeah.
Like, be open to talk about your problems, and then your friends will be there to talk.
Yeah, I think that makes you a man. Being able to have versatility. My dad was able to talk. He could be honest with me, but then at the same time, he could be there for me. He didn't just take me to school. He came to see performances. He gave me hugs. He bought presents on birthdays. He bought presents on random days. But it was that ability to continue to give.
You mentioned one there. Honesty, I think, is a massive one. I've been. I mean, you get into cycles sometimes, and it's just like
honesty is huge.
You just tell a little white lie, and you think it's nothing, and then it escalates, and all of a sudden you're just lying pointlessly. And I think it's. Luckily, I think I've kind of grown out of it a bit. I mean, I did it more when I was like young teenager.
Yeah, I think you make such a good point. Like, so don't get me wrong. I think to this day there is that moment where I just go, "Oh, that's so much easier." Like, but reality is like, what is the fucking point?
Also, if you really care about someone, like if say you show me a piece of work, I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, that's great, mate, and then like, then in my head I'm like, oh my god, what's he doing? Like, I feel like honesty in that is, I mean, I don't think you can have proper relationships without it.
I think there are moments there where, like, don't get me wrong, I think we're all guilty of it. I think, I'm guilty of it. I think there's moments where I'm just a bit like, stop hiding from the people you care, that really care about you. Stop, like, in the end of the day, if they really care, if they really trust you, that's all you need. Because if you can be open and go, hey man, this is it, and they listen to you, that's awesome. I think that's another key quality that makes a man, someone who can listen.
Yeah. That's
a huge one. Honesty, the ability to listen. And I think that those combined make really good, it's a bit like if I came to you, Harv, I think there should be no lying. It's an honest conversation. And when that happens, it can be scary at first because there's that probable aspect in there. But when you're rewarded by someone who listens and understands, because you might not always get the answer, you might be like, oh, that's a shame. But at the same time, would you not want that? Would you not want their honest opinion that betters you as a person?
Yeah.
I think that's such an important quality. I think that makes you a man, being able to listen and being honest with yourself. It's also like, what's really, I think that makes a man. I think it's the, such a tough question sometimes.
Well, I think we can
round off there.
If people want to get involved, that'd be great. We'll put something out on the socials asking, what do you think makes a man? What quality is it that you aspire to have when you're older, which you've either looked up to other people, role models, family, friends, and you go, wow, totally. I really want to embody that.
Yeah, because if anything, guys, like we've discussed some different variations of what make a man today, but these are just some. There's a whole big list, and there's some ones that we haven't even come up with that 100%. You guys at home could definitely do. I think, give us a listen. We're going to put out some posts later today. We'd like to hear what you guys think. We'd like to, comment on the pictures, comment on the article plugs. Just get involved with us. It'd be really good to hear from you guys, and more importantly, hear what you guys want us to talk about as well. Like, this is just one of the shorts, and I can't wait for the other shorts that you guys are going to help inspire.
Yeah.
So if anything, guys, take it easy, love yourself, and we'll hopefully see you soon.
See you later.